getting some very valuable feedback. From the BRICS gender dividend debates that was held recently. We're going to be watching a video that shows the highlights. Then we'll have feedback and resolutions from advocates, Maluleke. And then thereafter we'll have the keynote address by Honorable Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Can we show the video, please?
Women's Business Alliance, in efforts to developing the BRICS agenda on gender equality by 2030, held a significantly empowering and insightful gender dividend debate themed Tomorrow's Multipolar World Through a Gender Lens. Engaging dialogue surrounding the invaluable contributions of women in politics, government, and business, while emphasizing the significance of gender diversity within organizations.
We're very excited to be hosting this gender dividend seminar, which is aiming at empowering women and exposing them to the opportunities that are available through the BRICS countries. The policies within BRICS really for us must aim high and reflect the gender parity across all sectors of the society. But in particular, what we'd like to achieve is that each and every woman who's here, we must all know that our work is to ensure that we empower you.
The idea of the WBA came from President Putin. He put out the idea in the retreat that we had to mark the 10th anniversary. It was an informal retreat, and there he said we need to create space for women in business. This year we put 2 initiatives on the table pertaining to Africa, and the WBA, when we went to Cabinet to look at the deliverables of our chairship, the WBA put forward one which Cabinet embraced, and that is setting up the WBA Africa business platform. And that's going to be one of our deliverables. And I know I was at the IMC, our Interministerial Committee, 2 days ago, and Minister Patel came to ask me, how are we doing? And I said, I'm very pleased with the work being done by the WBA in the business space, and we spoke especially of this platform. The other major issue pertaining to women that we have as one of our key deliverables is Women in Peace. Based and building on Resolution 1325 of 2000, and again Resolution 2493 of 2019, which we championed when we were in the Security Council in 2019, and also in 2000, we were very much in the forefront of getting that UNSC resolution, and again reinforcing it with Resolution 2493 in 2019, looking at the role of women in peace and how do we ensure that they are also at the forefront and not on the margins.
Lebogang Zulu, chairperson of BRICS Women's Business Alliance South Africa, elaborated that it is essential to consider the voices of women within the decision-making structures of BRICS, and that inclusion is vital for advancing gender equality and equity.
So, ladies and gentlemen, while the world has made unprecedented advances insofar as gender mainstreaming, the reality is that no single country has achieved gender equality. Legal restrictions continue to keep 2.7 billion women from having the same choices of jobs as men.
Are you awoken enough to realize that unity of purpose is what this moment is calling for? I don't have to love you, my sister. I don't have to love you, my neighbor. But I must realize that together we are sitting in this Titanic that is sinking. So whether you change your seat and sit next to the sister that you like, this ship is going down. So the sooner we come together and speak with one voice and realize that until we are united,
Yes.
that is the only formula that's going to work for us to win this battle.
Amen.
The 2023 BRICS WBA Gender Dividend Debate stressed the importance of translating possibilities and optimism into practical solutions and resolutions, and explored the crucial role of leadership in fostering an inclusive environment, supporting professional growth, and cultivating diversity of thought.
How do women then position themselves to take advantage of this? And what is being done to ensure effective participation of women in this? And I must say, and also really acknowledge the work that is being done at the continental level to ensure that that happens through the development of a protocol on women and youth that will ensure that women are integrated in an integral part of the continental free trade area.
So as we look at BRICS, we must engage with BRICS with the idea of creating the Africa we want. How is BRICS going to assist us in creating the Africa we want? Now, the Africa we want as women, because I'm women and youth and persons with disability, I will also go there. The Africa we want is an Africa where women, young girls, persons with disability, and everybody else have equal opportunities for education.
BRICS WBA, promoting women's entrepreneurship and women's potential in BRICS countries.
Thank you very much. Quick announcement. If anyone has found spectacles, could you please drop them off at registration? And then number two, there's been a cell phone that's been found that can be picked up from registration. Thank you. As you can see from the video, the discussions that were held at the recent BRICS WBA gender dividend debate were very robust. And now, without further ado, I'm going to be calling Advocate Maluleke, the Director General for the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, to give us the feedback and resolutions from the debate. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Program Director, Dr. Ella Fort Mtetwa, Minister in the Presidency for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, Dr. Inkosi Zuma, Chairperson of the BWBA. She is indeed a queen. Even in Ghana, she was conferred with queenship. She is a queen. The Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Ms. Nomusa Dube-Ncube, Amakosi, the Queen, Queen Tokozo Maisela Zulu, the Chairperson of BWBA, Ms. Leuhang Zulu, MEC Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs,
MEC of KwaZulu-Natal Tourism, may I be allowed to go on the protocol that has already been established and acknowledge everyone who's here and from all the provinces and all the countries that are represented here. Distinguished guests, good afternoon. Today's engagement marks the beginning of our joint engagement to solidify our efforts to drive the agenda for women's empowerment and gender equality, and lead us to cutting short the prediction of the World Economic Forum, the Global Gender Gap Index. According to the World Economic Forum 2023 Global Gender Gap Index, no country has yet achieved full gender parity. And it says at the current rate of progress, it will take 131 years to reach full parity between women and men. And you know that this Africa and other countries, that it will take 131 years. But this trajectory can cut that period into half or can eliminate it sooner than we thought. According to the same report, it says no country has yet achieved full gender parity, although the top 9 countries, Iceland, Norway, Finland, Germany, Nicaragua, Namibia, and Lithuania, have closed at least for the 14th year running. Iceland has closed 91.2%. So it's taking the top position. A country to have closed more than 90% of its gender gap. Now, all the BRICS countries are not in the top 9, but I believe that this is going to help us to be able to be in the top 9. Now, taking it to South Africa, a bank, World Economic Forum, Statistics South Africa, and others have confirmed that South Africa is the most unequal country in the world, determining factor and gender being an exacerbating fact. 10% of the population owns more than 80% of the wealth. A World Bank report has said so. South Africa has both the challenges of income inequality and wealth inequality. That continues because women in South Africa have never had partners whom they can be able to work together in order to be able to exploit the resources of South Africa. South Africa has the resources, but it never had partners who would bring technical equipment, but also bring the capital. On income equality, according to the latest figures from the World Inequality Database, the top 1% of South African earners take home almost 20% of all income in the country. Take home 65%. The remaining 90% of the South African earners get only 35% of the total income. Further, that these unequal incomes, according to the Inequality Trends report, remain stubbornly racialized, gendered, and specialized. Hence, it is said African women suffered triple oppression on the basis of race, gender, and space or location. Therefore, the gender dividend debate, and solutions to achieve gender equality within the BRICS framework by 2030. The outcomes of the gender dividend debate contributed to the eThekwini BRICS Women Development Declaration to be presented at the 2023 BRICS Summit on the 24th. 13 sets of outcomes of the BRICS gender dividend were identified as follows. The first outcome, There is a need to address the lack of information through a web-based trade solution. I just want to make an example. I attended a Canada-South Africa business forum, and somebody who's not from South Africa presented on Boho Bay project, the energy project, and he kept on saying he's in South Africa. Boho Bay, I didn't know it. I had to call Energy, the Department of Energy, and ask them about the Boho Bay green hydrogen project. So those, if I'm in government and I don't know about that, how many women know about it? There's a lot of money that is women do not know. So it is critical that women have a system that will help them to be able to have access to information. BRICS, I know it's women who are in business, but make sure that you have links with government in order to ensure that you even have information from government. So also in terms of addressing information deficit, you need to implement a digital marketplace for women traders within the next 3 months. Women sometimes are empowered, are trained to be involved in business, but they sit with the products because there are no markets. So BRICS, the Women's Business Alliance, must make sure that it works with or it creates markets for women. Also enabling women traders to benefit from trade opportunities within BRICS. The second outcome is empowerment and advocacy within us to drive change, and recognizing the power of many. Together, you can compete with any giant. Promoting joint ventures and facilitating tangible projects in key sectors such as automotive, ICT, health, and infrastructure. In South Africa, we have infrastructure programs where the president has instructed that buildings must be planted all over the show. So with partnership with women from other countries, women in South Africa will be able to participate. Encouraging active participation of women in all sectors. Outcome 4, organized networks of women. That would involve focusing on establishing organized networks of women across sectors, facilitating the development of these networks to enhance collaboration and support, acknowledging the importance of fostering networks, women's networks. Outcome 5, skills development. That's the most important. Empowering women to aligned with economic initiatives such as the African Women Airline, prioritizing women's role in shaping the skills needed by the economy. Just to sit on this one, again, Minister Dr. Dlamini Zuma, when she was still at COCTA, she established something called, that model is critical. When she launched it, I organized a meeting for the South African BRICS Business Women Alliance, because I said to them, you need to make sure that you understand what is there and the opportunities that exist. Each district has its own resources which are critical. It's important that BRICS Women's Business Alliance South Africa knows about them and get reinforcement or get resources from its partners so that they can benefit. Here in KZN, there's Eastern Seaboard Development, beautiful. They need to participate so that they can be able to get partnership and assistance and be strong from the partners in South Africa. But they need technical assistance.